Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to DCP Talks. This is my podcast. Okay, my name is Stephen Candace. I'm an author. And you can visit my website, www.authorstephencandace.com. And you can check out any kind of my books, Audible books, and as well as information about my podcast, which is every Friday. And then it's released at 2 p.m. And this year was supposed to be starting off, as everybody knows, as things that'll make you go home. But it turns out towards the end, it's, DCP's Writer's Corner. Let's help writers get some, structure. So there you go. So right now, we're putting everything together, and I love the fact that things are going good. Like I said, you can always reach me and find out things at www.authorstephencandace.com. So let's enjoy everything around us. Let's have some fun. We would discuss a couple of my books each week until we're done with this year's season. I have 60 books out there, top that. I understand, we all start off small, then we all get bigger, and it's true. My first few books were probably about 100 pages. And, that shit was like, it was very hard to get to. Anybody who's a writer, anybody who is a songwriter, anybody that does any kind of composing will understand 100%. Sometimes it's easy as a fly, and sometimes it seems like you are pulling blessed teeth out. And, but I do have so many different varieties, okay? We're talking about fantasy, we're talking about westerns, we're talking about crime, we're talking about horror, we're talking about suspense, we're talking about thrillers, drama, romance, don't forget. And then I have 24 Audible books right now. I am looking to start more Audible books. I just have to get myself structured enough and time in there to do so. So therefore, you know what? And right now, it's my podcast, baby. So you know what? Podcasting, baby. Right now, I'm pushing DCP Talks. I think so far it's working out okay. This is where and it become part of the show. You know me. Anybody who listens, I always say so. Oh man, I'm really redundant. I suck about that, okay? My podcast research is primarily Google or my own judgment, which really can be left to the moon. And everybody knows that. It's how we are, right? And every episode of podcast is a quick episode, which sometimes can last maybe almost an hour, right? We all sit there and say we don't talk, and then once we start talking about something, our brains just go ahead and just... We're going to talk about 2 books this week. And the 2 books that I have chosen are, we got John Tilis. It just came out. Check that baby out. John Tilis came out 1882 series. Yeah, the second book, we're going to talk about that later. And then we're going to talk about the book Shilo. And Shilo is a book which is on Audible, okay, by Try Pearson. And it is a wonderful Western saga, good old-fashioned Western, cowboys and Indians. Then it goes to a fort. Then it goes to a lawless town, baby. And you know what? We're going to get over that in a few minutes, okay? So we're going to discuss the fact of why I chose Westerns and like the Prairie Saga. I believe in family. I believe in where you come from means everything. I came from a very, very stable background. Hey, very stable. Very, very structured. We had to get everything done in the right manner, time, and it was done. But you know what? It taught me along the way good values. It taught me good work values. And I tried to instill the same values in my children and my grandchildren, I was telling my granddaughter, one of them today, I think I have a couple, a few. I was telling my one granddaughter today is like, look what's coming ahead, because sooner or later you're going to have to step up and grow up because you're at that age. And it's just one of those things where we have to take care of ourselves and get ready to go. And that's the why factor of why we do anything. But yeah, why did I choose Western, baby? I love a shoot 'em up. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, bang, bang, baby. And I love the old fashioned Westerns. There is nothing better than an Indian and a cowboy. Let me tell you, okay, an Indian, I want nobody to get offended. But back in the day, it was just funny, the wording, the way it was. was Fort Apache, Comanche Pass. I loved, and I always rooted for the Indians. I have an eighth Indian inside me. Yeah, we have my grandmother was Cherokee, a quarter Cherokee. So amazing. So therefore, it's kind of cool to know that. Nope, we never pushed it. Nope, but my aunts or my family never did. But yeah, Cherokee Indian, baby. That's probably why I get so damn mad and why I love the sun. I go out in the sun and I love the wilderness and all that. I used to hike forever. Man, I used to hike. Man, I tell you what, man, I was one of those extreme hikers out there, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the books, and you know what? We have my old friend, Mr. Filet. Hey, Steak Filet, and a chef from New York City, New York City. Now, he sent me about John Tilis. So what he wants to know some questions. He said he read, kind of scanned through it. He was looking at the Audible. He said he went real fast and he was thinking about some questions. So he wanted to know. So I say, feed it because I want to talk about John Tilis. I just came out with John Tilis. I love John Tilis, and it is going to be book 1. And there is going to be a second book to John Tilis, and it's The Dotery Boys. I'm telling you, so it's going to be good. Now, his first question says, why did John Tilis' family leave Ohio from Mason Valley? Well, inside the story, as you know, they did work at a mining company which closed down due to collapsing and a lot of deaths, and that's probably why. Not just saying, but that's about basically what happened. Almost, you got to read to find out. And what were their dreams when they arrived? Like anybody else out there that were a settler, that were a pioneer, they just wanted what was best for them and their family. It's kind of funny how times haven't changed. Times have not changed. People have changed. The way we look at things have changed. But no, times have not changed. Now it says, what is Mason Valley like? Peaceful, dangerous, controlled. Actually, Mason Valley is very beautiful. It's in the state of Colorado. And it's part of where it's the hills and mountains kind of start up, building towards, Colorado, like Boulder, and then you have Denver, when I've been to both, by the way. Fantastic, the most stunning. Red Rock in Denver, woo! Me and my daughter went there, and it was so stunning, it was unreal. They have some great concerts there. Now, but that's enough about that. But that's why they liked it. It was peaceful. It wasn't dangerous, right? It wasn't controlled yet. Okay, and then here we go now. Now, how is the Dotery Mining Company introduced? Well, the Dotery Mining Company was already there. And the boys got smart, okay? The men folk of the Tilis family. They decided, since they worked at the mine in Ohio, that they were going to work for a couple years at the mines here and see how to run the mine. So, basically they all took different jobs, and I won't say anything about that. And then they wanted to learn. That's exactly. And then until it was time for them to take over their own stuff. And then let's see. Okay, so what are the early signs show the company was dangerous in conflict? Well, at first there is none. Mr. Dotery wants to buy their land. After he finds out they struck a little bit of silver. He wants their land, and that's all there is to it. Anything else? Greed. Come on. Like everything else with land back in the day in the 1800s, cattle back in the day. Never about sheep. Just saying. But about those prospects of making severely amount of money. So I think that was what is important about what became dangerous is when all of a sudden Mr. Dotery realizes what they may have. Now, what moment does John realize real danger is coming? I really think no one knew. Mr. Dotery came out and everything, and then the Tilis family decided to open up their own mine. So things, hey. Then his question says, why does the why don't the family refuse to leave? Well, would you? You just came across the United States and prospecting a new property, thinking this was going to be your home. And so for your family, the Tilis family is a large family. Okay, you got 2 brothers and sisters, not to mention chillins. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of Tilis family now. Let me tell you. Let's see, what warning signs? There was not really, and why didn't they see? Nope. Okay, what moment makes John realize danger's coming? It was probably when the attack hit. For the first time, the mining company sent Rough Riders to scare them. And that's all they were sent to do. Not kill anybody, but just scare them. Back in the day, it was kind of funny, how people sent. Nowadays, they just sent 2 thugs to scare somebody into paying them or do what they got to do. Like, really, seriously, man. That's really what they do. So I would say that's what it is. And then until the attack comes, the villain and thing, who leads the Dotery Company? That's Luther J. Dotery. Now, the funny part is in this whole first book, Luther J. Dotery never is mentioned. Mr. Dotery is mentioned. And what makes the villain ruthless? Well, you have to read because it seems like he has a contingency plan to run the whole place. I guess is what it seems like. Has the company done this before? Well, I guess you're going to read. It's probably possible this has happened. And it's kind of funny how nobody knows. Same as your own town right now. How many laws are broken, break-ins, people attacked, you name it, are never mentioned. You don't hear about them no more. It's like it's a cover-up because they don't want to scare people from coming to your frickin' city. Hey. So, how does the company control the town or people? I don't really think they do it yet, but like all companies, since they have a majority of the people that live there, it seems they have some controlling power over that little town or city or village. It just always seems that way. Let's see. What is the darkest secret behind their actions? Well, I think greed. I think the Dotery Company wants it all. I think like all companies before, like, man, you know what? Shut up. We're taking all this shit. And I really think that's how it worked, okay? And then, what drives John's need for revenge? Well, I think you're going to have to read and find that one out, man. And let's just say it ain't pretty. But, hey, how does he prepare to fight back? Any means possible. Any means possible. And then he's going to have to figure a way. What obstacles or failures does he face? Man, there's obstacles and man, there's a failure. I promise you there's failures in these things. And as you know, where there's pleasure, there's pain. That's all. Now, does John struggle between revenge and justice? Don't we all? Don't we all struggle with revenge or justice at times? We want to make the right call. We want to, you know what I have the hard time with? I have the hard time with just saying no. When it comes to grandkids, family, I feel guilty, which is really stupid, but I do. That is me 100%. And I think John is the same way. He's had a wonderful life. He was a good man until, things, can make a person turn. In the end, the last question, does John bring him peace or change him forever? Baby, I think after everything that he has been through, we all go through changes. There has not been a time in our life that hasn't changed us. When my mother died when I was 10, changed me forever. Okay, when my sisters moved away, which we were super duper close, changed me forever. That loss. There were times when I left Florida and I moved away from my entire family, which I was around my whole entire life. And I'm talking about we were always together. That was detrimental for a few years until I came back after 2 years for my brother's graduation. And then it makes you realize how much you miss the family. And then it makes you realize at times how much you moved away. Why? I'm only kidding. But I do have a tight family, and we just missed each other. But it is what it is. So there you go. Thank you, Mr. Steak Filet from New York City. New York City. Now, here is Mr. Cuervo. He wanted to ask some questions about Shilo. I think that's fucking cool because Shilo is a good book. Shilo is my man. This is a good book. Tyr Pearson narrates that shit. His voice is so cool. He talks like the Western style. You hear through that rustic. Man, I love it. And Shilo, you know what? I wrote because I miss old-fashioned Westerns. I grew up in the day where Westerns were the number one movies. Westerns. Hey, like that shit? Not dresses, man. We're not talking about RuPaul. We're talking about Westerns. So Westerns back in the day were a movie draw. They were at the movies, man. Big Westerns have always made it really, really big. My man, John Wayne, the Duke, has always, I have so many DVDs of his collections. I love them. You know, my favorite, you know, is The Sons of Katie Elder, the McClintocks. Oh, I love that shit. Okay, the Cowboys. We're talking about, oh man, he done so. Okay, True Grit, Rooster Cogburn. I mean, so many great movies, you know. And then, you know, people came afterwards. But then back then too, there was James Gardner did a few good movies. Clint Eastwood did a lot of great movies. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I mean, I'm telling you, man. Outlaw Josie Wells. So I've always been a Western fan. So I wanted to go back and create that, you know, the old Fort Apache, the old New Yorker, the old, you know, Western stagecoach, you know, the stagecoach, all kinds of the Rio Grande. I wanted to hit that kind of movie again, and where good is good, evil is evil. That's the way it really is. There is no in between, and people try to say it is. Man, you messed up. So let's talk about Shilo. Mr. T. Cuervo, my man. What's up, dog? Hey, here you go. Cheers. His first question says, what makes Shilo a lawless town? You know, Shilo is a lawless town for the sake of there's murders all the time going on. There's no sheriff. There's nobody to stop anybody from doing exactly what they want. That's a lawless town, man. People do what the fuck they want. Our society is turned into almost a lawless. You're seeing, for the first time, citizens reacted to those jewelry heists that has been going on for over 2 years now. We got these refugees all in, and it's wherever they're from, whether it's Somalia, whether it's Grenada, whatever it is. But those type of people are doing it, and it's happening because they show themselves. They don't give a shit. And citizens retaliated, which was crazy, and caught them. Knocked them down 2 days ago. That was crazy. Yeah, that was awesome. So it's going to happen again where citizens are going to take back because the laws are not doing their job. And society is breaking down more and more, and people feel threatened. That's what it comes down to. And Shiloh's a lawless town, and that's what happens. You feel threatened. Who currently holds power in the town? Oh, there is a gentleman on the outside of town who owns the largest ranch, and you're going to find out that he has a lot to say about Shilo and what happens in Shilo. Now, there are some key people now in Shilo, which power can shift over time, but these people are, going to be key players in here. So let's see. Why hasn't anybody stopped the chaos before? Because it's like anything else. When laws continue to be broke, it just continues to be lawless. There is the worst prison, true story, in Brazil. Worst prison in Brazil. No guards. Police refuse to go. It runs itself, and they have their own laws. How's that for you? That's a Shilo right there, man. So what crimes are mostly common? Probably shoot-ups, killings. I mean, come on, man. The Undertaker makes great money back then. He got paid. It didn't make a difference, right? Who's the main character? Oh man, you're gonna love Tom Tom Shepard, you're going to love some Tom Shepard now. Tom Shepard used to be a major in the Union Army. And so he was sent to Fort Simpson in the book. So that's not hiding anything. It's around the back. To work as a liaison between the Indians going to the reservation and the Union soldiers. That's his job. So therefore, Tom becomes a key player in the whole book. He's the man. That's it. Tom Shepard is the man. So you're gonna find that out. And let's see. Who sends this man to Shilo and why? Okay. The President of the United States asks Tom to go to Shilo and clean up this lawless town. But like everything else and didn't tell Tom, there's a reason. Because after, you're going to find out years later, and this is after the book, but you will find out at the end. But let's just say things change. Ooh, that was a good cover-up. Gotcha. Things change. So therefore, you're going to find out how they change. And that's what you want to find out. Now, what personal reason drives him to take this job? He's a good old-fashioned, good soldier. Will help. Okay, he's friends with the Indians, and yet he was a soldier. So it shows you that he is his mindful. When he goes to Shilo, then he meets friends that he needs, and he knows how to pick them. Let's just say now, I'm telling you, he's pretty smart. What is his moral code, man? You know what? Good against evil, like me. I believe in good against evil. I believe the knight in shining armor. I'm the dog that protects the sheep from the wolf. I am not, I would do whatever it takes to do it. What weakness or past mistakes haunt him? We all have weaknesses. We all have past mistakes. And usually it's a woman involved. And in Shilo, it's a woman involved too. Damn, you got to read it because you know what? Yeah, poor guy, right? Oh, let me tell you, it haunts him, man. Villains and conflict, there's a villain and he's good. And Tom, with the help, okay, he needs a couple francs because he has to hire a sheriff. So he's going to hire Matt. So he hires Matt. And then, of course, there's, the saloon, which is always Tom's favorite place in case he's got to get somewhere to relax. And he becomes friends with Miss Kitty. So there you go. So therefore, and then there's other people that want to help out Tom, but it usually doesn't work out. But like I said, man, hey, how does the main villain keep the town under control, Shilo? Well, he hires hitmen and he hires men to have them go into town. There's a Matt Masterson you're going to meet, and he can be a pretty interesting character. And I'll say the same for Mr. Dillon. Very interesting character. Let's just say they sure like making a mark on things, okay? And, what is the first major clash? Oh, there's some good major clashes, and it comes slow, then it goes bigger, then all of a sudden. What happens to the heroes that try to enforce? Like everyone, people try to kill them. Why is it people try to kill the heroes? You're supposed to cheer for the hero, not root and cry. Really, seriously, man, come on. Is there a betrayal or setback that destroys their mission? Oh, there always is. Wait till you find out, oh Lord, about the church. Oh, you got to meet the preacher and oh, Lord, you got to see what happens there. Talking about, man, that's a spooky shit there. Let's just say you need to find out. And what is the biggest gunfight or showdown in the story? You gotta see this. Oh, yeah, when these two meet. Woo! Let's just say the whole town. You know what was funny about back then? When they show Westerns and they show back then, they didn't show the real shit. When there was a gunfight and the streets were packed. The streets were packed. Everybody, women, children, people sitting on shoulders, wagons, on roofs. Like, that was really disgusting. Same if there was a hanging. Like, what the fuck, eh? Like, it was really, you think about it. But What better way and then to just show it and get it done? And this is justice. Agree. We should be doing that shit now, baby. Oh! So now, you know what? That's enough of those. And thank you, Mr. Cuervo, and thank you, Mr. Steak Filet. That was really good because you know what? It helped me get my books to where people acknowledge and know them. So now you know what it's about. So go look at them, okay? We're going to talk about Writer's Corner right now. I'm sorry, Author's Corner. Right now this week, John Tilis came out, baby. That's right, March 30th, 2026. Man, what a good little story. A mining family that moves from Ohio, goes to Colorado, starts to work their own mines. They find a little something, and then as usual, somebody wants their little something, and then there's a conflict, and let's see how the story goes. All I know is John Tilis, 1882 series. And the next book to follow after that is called The Dotary Boys. There you go. It's coming to a theater near you. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about my next book, which I'm working on right now. And about 3/4 in, it's called A Quarter Mile, 1,320 feet to survival. At first, we had this bad boy working really, really well. And the first half of the book, as you're going to find out, it's more of humor, fear, which can change. That's all I can say. So therefore, you know what? It's a good tale. It shows you how people's minds can really mess with them. And then when you add a few other little components, I tell you what, it gets real interesting real fast. And that is going to be A Quarter Mile, which is coming out actually within the next couple weeks probably. So there we go now. All right, now I am starting a new book, all right? And it is called Bachelor Getaway Masquerade. Yeah, baby. This is going to be some fun. It's going to be hilarious comedy. And it's going to be talk about my man, Steve, okay? My man, Steve, is getting married for the 5th time, and everybody's having a great celebration. And they all decide, because him and his girlfriend have always go to Key West, and they go to a resort there. They've been going there for 5 years, and then Steve decides to pop the question. Well, they decide they want to get married in Key West. There you go. Nice and easy story, right? Well, complications may arise after it's possible, but one never knows. All I know is the boys decide. I should have never said that shit. The boys decide to, 10 years ago, they went on a trip to Mardi Gras. And since they're getting married in February 14th, then they decide to go to Mardi Gras the week before the wedding. So for a couple of days, that's it. And then they're going to meet the family down in Key West. And then let's see what twists and tails turn. The wedding is in 6 days. And let me tell you what, this is going to be a good one. Okay, you know, between Steve, Mike, Bill, Sven, and Chris, let me tell you, it's going to be a dilly. So, and then coming up right in the middle, I still am writing. I haven't touched it for a while. I ain't going to lie to nobody. The Tale of Astrid and Borg, a Viking's tale. And that's pretty good because that's a really good tale. It's going to be book 2. All right? Nice. Now, we're going to get to Writer's Corner, man. So, let's do this real fast. All right. If you remember, in the first week was how to start a book. So how to start a book was know your core idea. What is this book about? Then it's define your main focus, fiction, nonfiction. Planning your opening. And then it's basic structure. You got the beginning, 25 pages. You got 50 pages in the middle. Then you got 25 pages at the end. Now, don't forget how to build a character now. So we went from how to build a story, start a book. Now we're going to reflect real fast on how each chapter should work. Setting the problem, if there's a reaction, if there's a cliffhanger, already have that in your mind. Then you want to build a character. So when you build a character now, it's going to be the basic information. How about a physical appearance? How about the personality? How about the skills, the abilities? Now, the tips is the characters usually have goals, a flaw, or transformation during the story of someone. They could go bad and then go good, or they could go good, go bad. Or they could be good, make a bad decision, or they could have a secret and not tell until the time is right. Wow, that was a lot. Now, how to start a chapter now. If you remember, we went to how to start a chapter. And the first 5 ways of starting a chapter is start with an action if you can. So start with the dialogue. You want to start with tension. Start with a thought. Start with the mystery. Now, that's the first step. Okay, so now what you want to make sure is give enough info to the readers to make them curious. Oh, damn, that was a good one, eh? To make them curious and keep them where they're not bored. Just remember one quick rule, okay? The quick rule is something happening, have a question. And then don't forget, if you want to a 3-structure outline, you have your beginning, you set it up. So you introduce the main character, you show their life, you introduce a problem, and then you initiate a big event or a start of something that's going to happen. Then you're going to have Act 2 as the middle, the bulk of the situation. Something goes wrong, or if they got to go back, they can't go back. The character tries to fix the problem, or if they are fixing the problem, things get harder or things get too easy. New challenges appear and a big mistake or a setback. Also in the mid-twist, you want to have a twist. Anything can change. This is your time to go whoop, 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 whoop. Change. Let's change this if you want to. Let's go ahead. And the final confrontation is Act 3. Don't forget, characters or people face their fears. They problem solve, or is it solved? Or do you leave it? And then you want to turn around and show how the characters change. Wow. Man, that was enough to kind of fill you in. And what I would do is go back, stop it, listen, go back, stop, listen, and you can gather the whole thing. Now, today, baby, we are going to talk about some of the challenges and how we are going to customize our characters. I'm going to give you 10 ways on different characters to customize them. This way, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the first 10 ways is going to be about a villain character. So if you're going to have a villain character, there's 10 things you want to make sure they do. You're going to have a villain name, naturally. What does the villain want? What does he want? Why do they want it so badly? Think about it. Why must they have to have it? What happened in their past to shape their ass to where they're doing what they're doing? You got to have that and show a little clip of it or in a thought somewhere. Do they believe they are right or justified? That's some heavy shit there. What are they afraid of? Are they afraid of anything, or are they not afraid of anything? Are they just plain nuts? Let's face the fact. There are people out there. I know a cousin. He's not afraid to do anything. So, I mean, hey, they're there. What makes them lose control? That's right. What sparks them? What makes them snap? What makes them not think about it? So who do they care about, if anybody? Do they care about anybody, or they don't give a good damn? I'm watching a series right now where the kid said, nobody's ever done nothing for me, so why do I do anything for anybody? Explanation, 1 line, 2 lines, done. What methods do they use to get what they want? Well, that's just it. This is where your mind takes control. You can make them a fantasy super, if they're a villain, make them evil. That's it. So you pick what they do. What happens if they succeed? Shit can change. You always remember, shit can change. Now, the next one is romance character questions. This is what you should be asking yourself. You wonder yourself saying, well, I got this, but guess what? No, sometimes you really need to think about this. This is one of those things where you have to really do it. What kind of relationships are they looking for? Really, in every relationship, even the ones now, what are you looking for? What are you looking for with your spouse even? Do you have differences? We all do. Number 2, what is their biggest fear about love? Everybody always has fear. Are you insecure? Are you not? There's always a fear, man. Neglect? I mean, everybody always has shit. That's all I got to say. Have they ever been hurt in the past relationship? We've all been hurt. We have all been hurt. Okay, that's it. Unless you're like my sister. My sister and Jimmy have been together for 47 years. Shut up. I love you. God bless you guys. Now, have they been hurt? Okay, we already did that shit. What qualities attract them to people? This is true. Everybody has a certain niche. I've always loved redheads. That's it. Can't say more. I've always loved blondes or redheads, man. That's it. That's just been me my whole life. Let's see. What qualities push them away, if any? Do they have people with certain types like will push them away? What do they find romantic? That's a big one, Is it someone that they find helping somebody? Is it somebody that they find are just standoffish, but yet at the same time they look kind? I mean, hey, it all means something, brother. What past experience shaped their view? Important. What secrets are they hiding from their partner? That's an amazing question. What makes them fall deeply in love? There you go. You have to write all these down. For every character, you got to make notes. Every note, you got to put all that shit down. You got to write it down, right? And what sacrifice would they make for love? We all have made sacrifices. Let's be very honest with you. Every one of us that's alive have made sacrifices one time or another for our children, for our loved ones, and that's all there is to it. And it seems to never be for ourselves, okay? Just remember, strong romantic characters usually have emotional wounds. So make them hurt. A personal growth or a meaningful connection. There you go, man. I'm giving it to you. Now, let's talk about a fantasy character questions. I'm going to give you 10 of those, and I think that's going to be the last ones. So I'm giving you a broad idea about customizing each character, if that makes any sense. Now you know how you customize whatever character you want to do. Use this formats. Now, what is the name of your fantasy character? Does he have a race? Is he human? Is he elf? Is he a dwarf? Stuff like that. Then, what kingdom, village did they come from? You got to remember, it's a fantasy character. You can choose whatever you want. I wrote 10 Zorn's Quest books. And I'm telling you, there are so many characters which I actually have drawn myself. And those are my drawings in all the books. Every drawing you see in those books are mine. I did them, that's right. So therefore, now you're talking about what village they come from. Do they have any special abilities, powers? You're talking about fantasy, man. So you're talking about sci-fi fantasy? Yeah, okay. What is their main goal or quest? That is always so important. What magical item or weapon do they carry? They always have one. Every fantasy character always has one. Zoran has a sword. It's just the way it is. Do they have a weakness that could put them in danger? That's a very good clue. There's a lot of things out there that can change, and I like those types. What type of magic exists in their world? In Zorn's Quest, there's all kinds of magic. There's all kinds of people in magic that come out. So you can make it anything you want. I want you to remember that. What kingdom or place are they trying to protect? Remember that. Is there a realm, a kingdom, a village that they're from that they don't want nobody to go to, or that they are just a watchman protecting? That choice is yours. And then what test or challenge would prove their courage? There's always something that makes them a badass. That's all there is to it. So make it good. Now, will they ever change during their journey? Will they ever change during their journey? No, they will not change during their journey. A strong fantasy character is often have a quest. There's always a reason why they're doing what they do. There's always a magical world, and there's always some kind of growth out of it, or they get something out of return. Always remember, too, a great plot twist works best. Small clues, kind of do it all. I started doing this very well, and I found that I started dropping clues in the first few chapters. And then, like I did in this book, John Tilis, all of a sudden, the last couple chapters, boom, it's back again. And you're like, oh, God, I read that in the beginning. That's right. That's one of those kind of twists that you want to do it. And there you go now. All right. So does everybody get that? It's basically almost the same thing for all three. If it's a villain character, if it's a romance character, if it's a fantasy, any type of character, you're gonna have to break them down. You're gonna have to give them a reason, give them who are they, what are they, and then give them a why. Basically 5 whys. There you go, baby. Now, let's go ahead and go to the 5 ways to customize a chapter. Now, when we're talking about customizing a chapter, number 1 is always start with the hook. First of all, we're going to start with the hook and open with an action, a dialogue, or a mystery. Make every chapter feel different from the last chapter. That's the one thing you always have to do is move forward. You have to move forward. When you open with action, dialogue, or mystery, you're already moving forward and people are already thinking. You have to make every chapter different, and that's all there is to it. Example, like start a chapter with an action, another with a memory about going back to the action. You could do that. Number 2, the method or tone, which is very, very huge. One chapter can feel tension. Another one be emotional. Another one can be fast-paced. Keep your readers engaged and not bored. That is the most, thing I try to do is try to keep chapters, when it comes to what's really difficult is when you write a family story. Because you have to come to the point where you have to just talk about people doing like minimal shit. And you're like, God, how do I try to make this interesting? And then you realize actually their conversation is how you make it interesting. You flip the script. Instead of talking about what they're doing, talk about what they're talking about. And you can add little shit inside there, and that's what I do a lot lately in the last few books I've done. I've grown a lot. It takes many years to grow. That's all I can say. Now, focus on different characters. So number 3, don't forget, focus different characters. Highlight a side character. Show another point of view. And review new information, man. What makes your reel feel better? You know what I mean? Add a purpose to each chapter. When you add a purpose to each chapter, every chapter should do at least one of the few things. You ready? You want to move the story forward. You want to reveal something new, and you want to increase tension. Make it interesting. When you do that, then everything else follows suit, and you're good. No filler chapters, please. And number 5, you want to end with a hook or a cliffhanger, baby. End with a... Yeah, you got that? Okay, you want to end with a hook or a cliffhanger. You leave the readers wanting more. You add suspense or a question. When I left John Tilis at the end, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if there's a book 2. You don't know because he's writing off. But I'm telling you, there's a book 2, The Dotary Boys. So once again, people just don't know. Now, here's a little pro tip, okay? Think of each chapter like a mini story, okay? You have a beginning, you have a hook, you have a middle conflict, and you have an end, you have a cliffhanger. Bada bing, bada boom. How's that? Now, let's go back over those 5 things one more time, okay, for you. So ways to customize your chapter is you're going to start with a unique hook. Okay, unique hooks should open with an action, a dialogue, as I told you. Number 2, you want to change the tone or mood. Make one chapter feel tense. Make one chapter feel emotional. You want to keep them not bored. Keep them engaged. Or if you have to, focus on a different character, number 3. Highlight some characters in this thing. Number 4, a purpose for each chapter. It's very important, man. Purpose for each chapter. Number 5, no fillers. Number 6, you want to end with that hook shit. Yeah, end with the hook shit. Think of it as a little mini story, all of it. So each chapter should have a beginning hook, a conflict, and then a cliffhanger. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. There you go. So that is our Writer's Corner for this week. Hallelujah. You guys were amazing. Thank you. Take your time. Write it down or record it. Put it on your computer. Or do what I do. You can use a phone and push voice record, and you can record what I'm saying. Therefore, you can type to text, send it to your phone or a computer, and that's what I do, and I print it. So we're going to go with the little podcast humor for the hell of it. I started a podcast for fame. My dog is still my biggest fans. Both my dogs love me. They lie in my room and they just sit there and listen. No wonder why they just look at me like, you're nuts. Podcast rule. The biggest conversation always opens before you press record. Isn't that the frickin' truth? Every conversation does. No matter who you talk to, it just seems like you have the best conversations, and then all of a sudden you got to hit that shit. I talk to strangers on my podcast. Apparently it's called an interview. That's funny. I love it. And let's see where we go. Podcasting is just telling a story with a microphone. Let's be honest. Unless you have somebody and you guys are talking about something and flopping back and forth, man, it's my point of view, the whole thing. I know. I hope you liked it. Oh, yeah, right? And podcasting tip. If you don't know the answer, ask another question, baby. Yes. Now, don't forget tonight, Survivor. Whoop, 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 on Wednesday nights, baby. Yeah. Boy, it's going fast. I just want to give a quick poke. Sorry. Now, I will leave you with the quote of the week. I write them all in my book, so please. Okay, this week's quote is, remember, if you always head into your sunshine, the shadows will always fall behind you. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Now, let me tell you what. Please note that I always provide my feedback on both sides of issues, playing devil's advocate whenever necessary. No holding back. Don't forget, you can always send me your thoughts and feedback and anything you want to devil play advocate at authorstephencandace@gmail.com. Now, if there's a topic you want to discuss, send it to me, baby. I'll talk to you. I don't have a problem with that. I will chat with you soon, and holla! And have a great day. And I want to say thank you, man, for Elk Artwork. Always sending me some DCP quotes to help me out. I love it. Thank you. Kiwi Productions has had a few productions going on that's been kicking. I love it. His podcast. Yeah, he's got a podcast with Ash. So this is pretty cool. To listen to those. It gives me ideas. I love it. You guys are doing great. Keep it going now, a sparkling sword. Don't you stop sparkling. All right, you guys have a great day. To all my shouting fans out there, man, we got the Game-Ins. Yay, we got the Moody's. And, okay, there we go, Mr. Billy Roy. Cheers. Have a great day. May the force be with you. DCP Talks is out.